This is UCLA B team versus UC Berkeley's B team, Division II finals. Going to be a very close match. Going to be very exciting. Both of these teams uh, haven't lost a match that they've played so far this season. And obviously, they're undefeated in the playoffs to get to the finals here at this point. But yeah, UCLA B and UC Berkeley B should have played during the regular season. It was the last match. And Berkeley just ended up having too much difficulty to schedule it, and they already had guaranteed their playoff spot, so they forfeited that one technically. But this Berkeley team definitely better on paper, higher rated on pretty much every board. So we're gonna see how this one goes out, because UCLA definitely has their chance, and they're gonna see if they can get a win here today. So we are underway here. We got Anshul from UCLA. This is their board 2 with the black pieces against National Master SV Mind. And that is Michael Wang, their third board. So this is a Roy Lopez, one of the most common openings. We have just a6, kick the bishop back, and simply d6. So this bishop's going to be a little blocked in here by this pawn. But this is still a really good development square, especially after white gets this pawn out and tries to bring the bishop into the game. This knight's not going to be having to deal with this pin as much. So yeah, white just expanding in the center. d4. And that comes with the threat of d5. And of course, there's always b5. Kick the bishop out, so the knight is no longer pinned to the king. Anshul just continuing with development, bring the bishop out, pinning the knight to the queen here. So potentially going to take here. So yeah, at this point, giving up the bishop for the knight, and the knight was putting pressure on these two squares. So now this knight has a little bit more of a grip on the center. So probably white's going to take back with the queen, but that could potentially lose a pawn. So if white doesn't want to lose a pawn, they're going to have to take with the pawn here, and this kingside pawn structure is going to be a little bit weakened. However, white could then use it as an attack on black's kingside, and that's exactly what we see here. So white will likely look to castle queenside in the long run. So again, I'm assuming this is all still theory in the Roy Lopez. These players would probably know much more about it than I do. But yeah, Anshul just continuing. Bishop e7, solid development move, looking to castle kingside. And yeah, white can continue, get the rook on the open g file. And after a move like this, you could see a move already like this. It's already kind of awkward on how to deal with this open g file. So there is a move like knight e8 after that, just defending g7. But you begin to become a little cramped in there. So yeah, I mean, right now g7 is hanging. And if you play a move like g6, then bishop h6 just prevents castling altogether. So what instead we have is queen to d7. Now, if rook takes g7, that comes with a threat on f7 as well with the bishop. So if you take here, black could always castle long, but then f7 hangs as well. But the pieces can be a little cramped here. The white pieces, I mean, if they go pawn grabbing, you could get a piece trapped. Hey, Kimstad, how you doing? The schedule for today, that's a good question. So right now we have UCLA B versus UC Berkeley B in Division 2 finals. And then immediately after this, we'll have Temple B versus New Jersey Institute of Technology in Division 3 final. No, that's Temple A. I think that's Division 5 finals. And then yeah, I'll have a break. We're supposed to have chess TV time actually at uh, at 3 p.m. Pacific, but there's no match at that time. So it is D5 finals. Okay, thank you Wikipedia. Um, good to see you as well. Hope you're doing well. All right, so Queen D7 and A4. So not pawn grabbing, not taking on G7, instead expanding on the queen side. And black closes this down. Goes B4. So yeah, rook takes G7 is very solid. I think it's very hard to find castles, bishop H6, and then move like knight E8. It's also very passive. So Anshul is losing the G pawn, but grabs here on H3. F7, if you take with the bishop with check, there's king F8, and it's very difficult to defend all of this, especially now that the queen covers H6. Because if the queen was still on D7, bishop takes, king here, bishop H6 would be very, very strong move. So now the knight is attacking the bishop, saying, do you want to take on F7, or are you going to retreat? Because if the bishop goes anywhere else, one of these knights are going to take it. And if you retreat, then B3 should win the bishop. So yeah, probably now you have to retreat this way. So yeah, this is a very nice move. Knight to A5. Hello, white noise. Life. So no, I think I might do like a Q&A or an AMA. Something like if we get a lot of viewers, then I feel like I could just talk about Clear Chess League. We could talk about how the season went and how next season's gonna be shaping up. So I don't know. I'll definitely be using the time now. I could also even do a replay, perhaps. Wow, king up, queen H6. Yeah, that wins the rook. So this is winning for black. That's big. So Anshul should win this game. Obviously, the game's not over yet, but this was a huge mistake. White needed to block the check with the queen. Instead, getting the king up, and this queen again using this H file. So grabbing on H3, lots of compensation for this queen. Really, mainly just guarding H6 and really understanding that grabbing on G7 might have worked, but Anshul was definitely tempting white to take on F7, and it just didn't work after the queen was guarding H6. And here in this line, we see the queen actually even utilizes H6 to get a fork on the king and the rook. So right now, what's white thinking? Well, does blocking with the rook help you at all? And I guess ultimately they decided not to. Probably you want a little moment, a little timeout, moment of reflection. Just probably some frustration of like, man, I can't believe I missed that. So yeah, Anshul would love to trade queens here. So white just ignores that. Steps the king up once again. And their only hope is to leave the queens on the board. So yeah, taking here, great move. Just attacking the knight and also freeing the square for this knight to come out as well. Anshul clearly has this very good plan of promoting this passed H pawn, already supported by the rook. And the queen is guarding the square as well. White's going to have some trouble trying to get these pieces out without hanging the rook. So the knight, again, already using, like, Anshul didn't even care if the knight was hanging or not. This pawn is sprinting down the board. So yeah, pawn here, I mean, it's so many moves to take, but I mean, even giving up the queen for the rook and getting another queen, I mean, you're up 2 rooks at that point, and white doesn't even have time to take the knight. So yeah, look at this guy go. Bishop here, and yeah, I mean, just take the rook and then promote, or promote and then take the rook. And Not looking too good. Okay, so queen check, and you don't even have to give up a queen because you're already supporting the pawn by the rook. So what is going on here now? So saving the knight first. Probably like rook here, but then queen here. Or maybe even queen here, actually. Yeah, queen here would be more accurate because queen here would allow white to defend this way. Although, yeah, if you go here and they defend, then you take, they take, and then you promote. So yeah, Unshul saving the knight. Let's see. Let's move on to another game. This is, I believe, Timu. Sorry, I've been neglecting the chat a little bit. Yeah, that's a great idea. We could interview people, although I don't have Discord on this computer, on this setup. So we would have to do a Zoom call. Hey, Abby, good to see you. Big plays by Unshul, that's right. All right, so let's see. Yeah, this is Timu, FIDE Master. Definitely one of the strongest players in the second division. They're up against UCLA's bottom board, Rohit. So this looks like it's winning for black. So that should be good for Berkeley. Just simply up an exchange here against the two knights. So very difficult for white to defend in this. And let's look at Caleb's game here. So Caleb is the board 3 from UCLA up against another national master from Berkeley. So Berkeley's got a lot of titled players on their team. This is two national masters going at it. Caleb's doing really well on the clock, over double his opponent's time, but yeah, this position is very closed, very locked in, not a lot of time. So I think the time disadvantage is not going to be, well, as I say that, I mean, it's under 20 seconds now. So, and Caleb's just playing fast. So even though the position's not going to open up anytime soon, well, I say that, I mean, it's opening up a little bit. Okay, so immediately giving up the dark square bishop, attacking the knight, or attacking the rook with the knight. Both players are playing pretty fast and pretty accurately. So this is a problem right now. Knight takes is a threat. I think knight here could help remedy that. Queen up does not. Yeah, probably move the knight. I mean, knight here as well. You open up the rook. So now Caleb's dipping under a minute. Let's see. There's a fourth board I'm not getting. K-Web. Let's see. Okay, so this is UCLA's top board against Berkeley's bottom board. So yeah, Berkeley, their fourth board on their B team is 2400, and UCLA B's team, their top board is 2206. Obviously, some of the players are placed a little differently depending on their strength, but yeah, K-Web not looking too hot here with the black pieces, actually really low on the clock. So he actually might lose this game. We have some results. Actually, Unshul lost this game despite being up a rook. That's incredible. Because now white also promoted. He lost his H-pawn, and then he got his rook forked. That's an incredible comeback from Berkeley. And their top board won. No, this is not their top board. No, that is their top board. Yeah. Here, Caleb won his game with a checkmate against the National Masters. So, bishop sacrifice, knight coming in, queen check, queen here, rook check, and mate. That's beautiful. So, black missed this after e4, opening up the diagonal for the Greek gift. So very well done from Caleb. But yeah, this UCLA team unfortunately lost after being up that rook. So let me give some points out. Let's see. So Timu won, and SV Mind won, and Caleb won. And how is K Web Games going? So he's got 4 seconds. Looks like he's gonna lose this one. So Grand Tichu with the upset, board 4 versus board 1. And yeah, king here probably. There's a check, but let's see what's going on here. Oh, there's a check. There's mate. All right, so Berkeley, strong start, 3-1. UCLA on their heels. Gonna have to come back after that first round. Let's see here. We got our second round underway. Who is rapid defeat? He is Arjun, one of their representatives from Berkeley. Good to see you too, Abby. Always good to see you, man. All right. So this game's underway. So Kaviano Farwana. This is actually our highest rated player, and he is our 4th board. So yeah, the board ordering's like kind of interesting to say the least, but it doesn't make too much of a difference as all the players still play everyone from the other team. So I think Berkeley's boards are also technically a little off according to the chess.com ratings, but as long as everyone plays everyone, that's all that matters, and they definitely will. So let's see. Yeah, rapid defeat was the only Berkeley player that lost that last round. So he's going to look to get a bounce back win here, especially against UCLA's 4th board. So what do I notice here? We have opposite side castles. White is trying to expand and attack with the pawns on the king side. Black likewise on the queen side. Right now, this pawn is hit twice by the knight and the queen, only defended by the rook. So black brings the knight in to help support the pawn. I was also thinking perhaps queen d5, attacking this weakened pawn, but it's very easily defended by white. And now bring the knight in here, controlling c5 a little bit more, but I think simply getting the second pawn into the game could be beneficial for black. Instead, developing their last minor piece, and again, this knight just simply wanted to come to this very nice outpost square on c5. That was hitting the bishop. And the knight also is attacking e4, so the bishop reroutes into d5. So white has a very good grip on the dark squares. Black has a light square bishop, so going to be a little bit more difficult to attack on these dark squares. But that being said, black can still get an attack going here with the pawns on the queen side. And this pawn's technically hanging, but then this pawn would also hang, I believe. Oh, taking the rook off the e-file. So that weakens this a little bit. Knight comes in now, hitting a lot of these dark squares. So very beautifully placed knight here. Knight f5, one of Ben Feingold's favorite pieces. So now the queen's hit, and now this is a fork. So now the queen's going to have to move, and white will take the exchange. All right, so here we go. Check, rook takes, knight check, can get the bishop, and white's got to be a little bit careful. The queen and king are a little exposed here on the c file if you take and allow this to happen. So that's exactly what we see here. Luckily for white, the rook can't land on c8 right away without losing the rook for free. So black has to decide, how do I want to take this? I think this probably gives you best chances. Because, you know, you do open up the c file, but the question is how to get the rook here. King steps over anyways, defending a3. You could push b3, which is kind of annoying. You do lose a pawn, but you open up that b file and you kind of ruin their pawn structure. So instead, black tucks the king back to g8. Now white is the one utilizing the open c file, doubled the queen and rook. So yeah, this is going to be tough for Kaviana. Let's check out Anshul's game here. So Anshul, devastating defeat in his last game. White just threatening checkmate, forcing g6 essentially. There was maybe queen here, but instead, I think, what is this? Just grabbing a pawn. So Anshul up a pawn here. Up on the clock as well, so that's pretty good. So the rook is hit. Rook swings over to the semi-open c file. Lots of space here to retreat. So sometimes the rooks over here can get trapped if you try to stay and stick around for too long. So right here, very safe square for the rook. Here we have potentially a discovery, as this pawn is pinned to the rook. The rook is hanging on e1. So this knight not really defended. So right now the bishop's in the way, but simply retreating the knight, which also simultaneously defends the rook. Now this pawn is hanging opposite the rook. So again, the bishop could have some sort of discovery, decides to go here. And now white has a couple choices. You could push like this or push like this. Both of them save the pawns for the time being. I think, yeah, d4 makes the most sense. Protects the rook, taking space in the center, and also just keeping all the pawns on dark squares away from this light square bishop. Black has most of their pawns on light squares, which is going to be in the way for their dark square bishop. So here they're transitioning to dark squares, it seems. And I like this knight move a lot, just attacking here. This does hang this technically, but this looks to win a pawn actually. Not to mention just completely ruin their pawn structure in front of the king. So great move. I think the bishop's going to have to move. Instead, rook takes. So just grabbing that pawn and trading these pawns, but I think this should favor white. Yeah, you could actually even take with the rook here. Yeah, I like that a lot as well, because rook takes, knight takes comes with the fork. So let's see what Anshul decides to do here. Both rook takes and knight takes, probably good. Starting with the knight and then with the rook. And yeah, now this pawn's hit. As soon as this rook moves or is defended, this rook will be hanging instead of rook here. Very active on the second rank for sure. So Anshul is just grabbing here. Black rook takes here. You can take here. They'll take here. You'll have a 4 on O majority and a 3 on O majority. Instead, bringing the rook involved. So yeah, there's actually a pretty interesting position. I mean, Anshul's just up a pawn, but maybe these pawns can be fast. And yeah, king here now. Probably this. Anything else, you're losing this pawn, and you can take this pawn. So yeah, activating on the 6th rank, and yeah, black can again take on a2, or they can try to attack one of these rooks. But now there's these sort of things to think about. Okay, bishop back blocks any check along the 1st rank. And yeah, black's just going to continue with their plan. They got a passed a pawn, so they're going to push it. And it promotes on a dark square, so it's going to be harder for this bishop to prevent. So rook takes, king here, rook check, king here, rook check, king here. And okay, so this is a checkmate threat, covering this flight square basically, preventing the king from lifting. So what is black's plan here? You can go knight here actually. Knight here covers this check. It also allows to block this check after this. But this would never happen. Knight here as well. So, wow, there was this crazy check, bishop check. If king takes, then take with discovery, and then you take this at the end of all that. So, let's see here now. This is apparently a move to go here, here, and here. Okay, just attacking the knight now. That's a free pawn though. So rook takes. Now maybe bishop here still. There's also this check forcing the king backwards. Something like this. And now you could take here. Threatening checkmate. Yeah, so this rook is just too powerful. This king is too exposed. So this is a really strong position for white. It's going to be hard for black to defend. So now there's check. King to one of these two squares. And yeah, this bishop's going to be like one of the knockout blows in all of this. Perhaps. And Grand Tichu very low on the clock. Ooh, we have results. So K-Web goes down to SV Mind. So SV Mind, huge comeback against Unschul. And now leading the way for Berkeley, undefeated 2-0. So K-Web, top board from UCLA, struggling to find any points. Already down 0-2. This game, very close to being finished. Both sides under 20 seconds left. Caleb versus Timu, their top board. So what is going on in this position? We've got two knights, both sides with light square bishops, open c-file for white's rook. And yeah, black just really trying to bring in all their resources to attack this king. It's going to be very difficult, though. White seems to be defending pretty well, and the rook is just barely defended by this. You got, oh, is that not free? What just happened here? Wait, what just happened? Huh. Okay, so Caleb's down a piece. And these knights are just covering all these squares. They're both very low on time pressure. Rook here threatens mate. Yeah, I just don't know what this is doing, though. Okay, blocking this. Again, rook here threatens mate, so you gotta watch out for that. The knight's gonna be kicked. Ooh, taking here? That's mean. That is mean. That's a free piece. That's a free piece anyways. So down a whole rook, and yeah, this is game over. So in the time pressure, I mean, it's not over yet, but holy smokes. All right, it is now. So their top board is also undefeated. Caleb loses his first game to their top board, FIDE Master. Unschul gets a bounce back win here, so he finally gets his rook mate in. And Caviano goes down to rapid defeat. So let's give rapid defeat their first point after they lost to Caleb, and Unschul his first point after losing to Michael. So 2-6. The score has been the same from round 1 to round 2. 3-1 in favor of Berkeley both times. And yeah, I mean, UCLA is going to have to win the last 2 rounds at an equal score of 3-1 each just to tie the match. And that's looking to be quite difficult. So this Berkeley team, they beat a very strong Mizzou team to get here. UCLA beat Arizona State 11-4 pretty convincing match. But yeah, this match is looking pretty lopsided. So huge props to this Berkeley team. Definitely, I think the highest rated team on paper going into Division II, and they're proving it with really good play. So the match is not over yet. UCLA still has 2 rounds left. There's only halftime. We could see some big upset wins here. Daddy Dude 42 cheering on the Bears. Jag, a USC player, cheering on the Bears as well. We got Ubby cheering on UCLA. So yeah, Berkeley, UCLA, 2 great California schools, 2 great chess schools, and hopefully this is just a picture of the rivalry in chess that these 2 schools are beginning to develop. So this looks to be some sort of theory. This is an English opening from Timu. So this is the top board from Berkeley versus Unshul. So yeah, both sides fianchettoed, king side. Black with the bishop pair. Bishop attacking this pawn. And the rook probably going to follow suit. So if you go here, now the knight's pinned to the rook, but defended by the queen. Maybe you want to go queen here or something, or queen here even. But yeah, with this bishop development, b7 is hanging. So queen move here from black makes a lot of sense. Connecting the rooks, defending the pawn, or just continuing the attack. So white gave up their dark square bishop at some point here. So there's a huge trade here. And then bishop takes knight on h6, and queen takes hitting the rook. Black castles, and that's how we get here. So black just, instead of opting for the queen move, they decide to move the rook to defend the pawn. And if queen takes pawn here, then bishop takes knight here. So rook comes here, getting out of the pin and defending the knight, threatening queen takes. So black pushes the pawn and getting ready for b5. So white just clamps down on this. We've got 3-on-2 here on the outside for white, but black does have a d pawn. So yeah, at this point, b3 is pretty weak, but it's also very difficult to get at. Maybe queen here to here, and that's exactly what we see. So the knight's defended twice, attacked twice, and the queen's probably going to try to come in here. So here we have bishop to d5, very interesting move, potentially giving up the fianchettoed bishop. But after taking, knight takes, this pawn's very weak. So black decides to keep the bishop on the board. And again, e7 is not hanging because the knight needs defense. So queen's tethered down to the protection, just like a babysitter here. So either the knight's going to move or something. That or white will continue to pester the dark light square bishop. You know, it's a dark piece on a light square. But yeah, there's also like bishop here or something. So anyways, bishop tucks back, and I think the knight wants to come here. And attack e7, but also just get out of the eyes of these pieces. And if you save the pawn by going like e6, then knight comes in with a fork and ruining black's kingside structure. So probably you could, well, if you play this now, then d6 hangs from the rook. So bishop comes back, and probably anticipating if the knight comes in, we might take. And there we will go into an opposite color bishop's endgame, which is very well known for being a draw. So yeah, in this opening, white gave up their dark square bishop for the knight. So black has a very strong dark square bishop. But I don't know. It might have been theory at that point. Interestingly, the knight goes to e4. Not too sure. But yeah, it's like sometimes you don't need the fianchetto bishop. Most people will always tell you, oh, sorry, Abby. I'll read what you said. For California schools, the 5th annual. Oh, yeah. Anyone interested in California Intercollegiate Chess League, feel free to reach out to Abby. Basically, it's a big tournament that we've been doing every year. I believe it's May 1st. It's rapid time control. It's a Swiss tournament. Yeah, maybe I have a CICL command. Maybe. No, I don't. All right. Well, Abby, I think maybe you could maybe post the link to it or something. Actually, you know what? We're making Abby a mod. Abby, you should be the first mod of the channel. All right, so knight is coming in here to g5. What just happened? The rook was hit. So, yeah, the queen does step up, putting pressure on b3. Knight here, rook hit, also defending the pawn here. The rook steps back, and now this rook is hit. And bishop here, wow. Oh, because now the rook's actually trapped from all the bishops. That's crazy. So nice find from Anshul. So he's up the exchange. Now he has to decide how to deal with this situation. So probably take here, but the knight takes, and look at these dark square issues, right? So it's like you gave up that dark square bishop that was fianchettoed for a rook. Yes, you're up the exchange, but you got some problems on the dark squares for sure, and it's not that easy. So yeah, he's trying to get the queen trade, which is very very wise decision. And white opts to keep the queens on the board, which also makes a lot of sense. So it's kind of interesting. The knight here is on a dark square, and it's kind of hard to kick this piece out. But you don't want to take the bishop because knight takes, and the knight is looking at both of these dark squares. Whereas from this outpost, he's only looking at these pawns and light squares. So black has some defense on the light squares. So a knight on a dark square is kind of at bay here. But once the knight gets into f6, he's taking away a lot of squares from the king and forcing the king onto these dark square weaknesses that then the queen can take advantage of. So Anshul opting for the queen trade, trying to make sure his queen is on the long dark square diagonal to cover for the missing bishop. And here he's definitely, oh, he's taking with the queen, going for the queen trade. So yeah, white just keeping the queens on, going back to that long dark square diagonal. And yeah, maybe at some point you want to kick the knight out, but honestly, I think that's too weakening of a move. So yeah, Anshul trying to go after these pawns, decides to come all the way back. And white's going to try to push these pawns, I think. Perhaps. And yeah, I mean, this is a beautiful knight. So down the exchange, but really strong piece. And Anshul's got to watch out for the time. He's under 30 seconds. He's trying to play it in the center, which is always really good. Takes back. If white takes with the pawn, maybe you go queen here. Maybe not. Maybe you don't want to ruin your pawn structure. So queen here, attacking this. Maybe rook here, or just simply rook here as well. Knight here would attack the rook. So knight looks to maybe come here, but now we're doubled. The knight's defending the pawn just in the nick of time. 15 seconds for Anshul. So he's given up a pawn. He's trying to attack that pawn and win it back. It's going to be very difficult. He's actually going to have to give up the exchange to get it back. So queen here, attacking both of these. Rook here or here, saves both. There's a check. King steps up. Queen comes back. Rook hits the queen. Queen pins the rook. Queen steps out of it. King moves. Rook now hitting everything, trying to trade rooks. Leaving the rooks on. Very smart decision to do in time pressure. So now Anshul's forcing the rook out. So White's saying, you know what, I'm going to play on. Not even entertaining the idea of perpetual. So here hitting the queen. Going back. Rook here is pretty annoying. 7 seconds. Queen up. Rook in. I'll go queen. Queen pinning the rook. Queen gets out of the pin. We've seen this. Rook steps up, keeping the rook out of the 7th rank. Ooh, that's dirty. That's dirty. Queen here. I missed that too. So only 6 seconds. Ooh, SV Mind beat Rohit. So SV Mind 3-0. Crushing. And Berkeley is officially a 1.5 away from clinching this win. Let's look at some of the other games here. This looks like to be a pretty tough position for Anshul, despite being up the exchange. He's given up this pawn, and White's just been doing really well to hold on to it. Ooh, that's a bad discovery. Yeah, King should not have stepped up. So Anshul loses that game. The team. Oh, hold on. Do we have another result here? Grand Tichu beat Caleb. We've got 1 game left in this round. So congrats to Berkeley, officially the Division II champion. They did not lose a single match that they played. Here, Kyle, one of UCLA's newest members, a PhD student, I believe, from Michigan, loses his 3rd game. So that was rapid defeat. Yeah. Yeah, this Berkeley team has not met anyone their match. So yeah, this team could actually compete pretty well with a lot of A teams actually. I meant Division I teams. So there were some A teams in Division II. But yeah, I think the fact that Division II had 2 B teams make it to the finals is a testament to how strong a lot of these schools are. So yeah, 2 of the best teams in California, UCLA and Berkeley, especially with regards to chess skill. So yeah, Berkeley wins this one, and UCLA is going to have to come back bigger and stronger next year. And this isn't going to be the only time these 2 teams compete. Like Ubby's mentioning in the chat, we do have the California Intercollegiate Chess League tournament coming up May 1st. So these teams will meet again in a slightly different format. It's going to be a Swiss uh, rapid time control tournament. And it's going to be open to any California school. So obviously these are two of the biggest ones and two of the best ones. But anyone's welcome to join that is at all related to any California schools. So it doesn't matter if you're a current student or not. You have to be either an alumni, faculty, staff, or a student. That pretty much covers most of the bases. But yeah, like I could play for UCLA. But May 1st is actually a big day for me. It's the day that I'm moving. So I unfortunately unable to play or stream or either of those things, but definitely I'm a huge supporter of that. Something I started a long time ago. It's been like 5 years now. So anyways, yeah, this was a really well played match from Berkeley, and this fourth round is just kind of just to finish the match out. The results is already confirmed, and yeah, we've got another match after this: Temple B versus New Jersey. We'll go from Division 2 finals to the Division 5 finals, so should be very fun and entertaining to watch. Probably going to be a closer match than this, but we'll see. Anything can go actually in that one. In that one, I think Temple B is pretty close to being undefeated. I would have to look that up, but I do know New Jersey had a really rough regular season. I think they only won 2 of their like 7 matches, and then they went undefeated through the playoffs. So I think they were a wild card team actually. So to make it to the finals, very impressive, definitely. All right, so what's going on here? This is a very annoying bishop on e3. Teemu can't castle. Knight pinned by the rook. Probably the king's going to step up here any second. White's got some development issues on the queen side. So going with g3 here. Pawn takes. Either knight or pawn takes back. So taking with the knight. Yep, king slips off the d file. So now the knight is hitting the pawn. Could probably go here. Try to defend that instead of just developing the bishop. So yeah, black wins the pawn. So white did not defend the pawn. And now kind of an exposed king, but up a pawn for Teemu. Rook comes to the f file, hits the knight. Knight's gonna move. Teemu's thinking here, brings the knight back. So yeah, black's also got the bishop pair, which is somewhat annoying. Rook here is an idea, but you don't really want to allow bishop here in some cases. The bishop would simply just retreat somewhere. There's also, yeah, knight here. It's definitely a solid move, just putting a knight in the center. So yeah, rook comes over. That allows for the king to tuck back if needed. And the time difference is getting pretty large here. Over 2 minutes now difference. So Teemu pretty comfortable up a pawn and up on the clock as well. So rook does lift, hits the bishop. So probably bishop back to one of these places. That's my guess, at least. Hello, science. How you doing? I feel like I need to sit up more. Or move the camera down or something. I don't know. That's better. All right, so bishop decides to go back. Now, white could take with the knight, but that will help connect these pawns and open up the rook on the h-file. So instead, the knight comes in here, looking to take here, it seems. Knight e5, this opens up the rook, attacking the knight. This also defends the pawn, and it also attacks the rook. So this is a very strong move, and white is in a bit of a pickle now. It's hard to save everything. In fact, it might be impossible. So rook f5. Yeah, it's a tough move to make. So yeah, this looks like Timu's going to go undefeated 4-0. Kyle Webb, unfortunately, having a tough day against a very strong Berkeley team. Let's look at Caleb versus SV Mind. So the two national masters going at it. Let's see here. Caleb's up a pawn, both sides with the dark square bishop. Kind of an exposed king here. So Caleb's looking pretty good, but SV Mind can't be counted out. Yeah, Timu beat Kyle, so that's the end of that game. Let's see. So we got 3 games left. Let's look at the board fours. 2300 versus 2400. We got rook and bishop versus the bishop pair. So very interesting. 2 pawns versus 3. So Caviano technically up the exchange for a pawn, but can he break through white's bishop pair? It's gonna seem hard to do. This combination here, pawn and bishop, can never be contested without giving up the rook, and this is pretty much just a draw, I think. So let's check out Anshul's game. Anshul with the white pieces under a minute, rapid defeat over 2 minutes 40 seconds. So we got knight and bishop versus knight and bishop. Passed pawn on the e-file, but very well defended by black's pieces. Caleb won his game. So Caleb doing pretty well. Check, and yeah, this knight covering this square, and where does if block with bishop, then there's this. Oh, and the knight's gonna be taken. Yeah, this is crazy. So block with bishop loses that. So then if you block here, then you can take with check and win a piece that way, and then trade off. You could also maybe, so you probably block with queen, and then, yeah, I guess you just win a piece. So Caleb just won that game, so that's pretty cool. Caleb, one of the stronger players on the team, getting 2 out of 4. I think Dude, did they sweep last round? Berkeley swept. They went 4-0. That's crazy. So yeah, that's brutal. Okay, so we got 2 games left, and then we'll go to the Temple one. So Unshul won this one. So the middle boards from UCLA splitting even 2 for 2. Unshul's probably gonna have that first game haunt him for the rest of his life. And Caviano won this one. So after losing all 3 rounds before, UCLA takes the final round. Timu, the only player from Berkeley to get, actually, yeah, but they won 3-1 here. So the 4th board getting their first point. So 5-11 final score. That's the end of the season for both these teams, and Berkeley coming out on top, UCLA finishing 2nd place. Really well done to both these teams. This is UCLA's first loss of the season, and they played really well with some really tough Division 2 matchups. And yeah, like I said, they're going to try to come back bigger and stronger next year. So that was a good